Okay, so we're going to have a look at planning our responses for an inspector calls, which is the first question on your lit paper 2. Remember, you'll have 45 minutes for this one if you have regular time, and you will have about 55 minutes for it if you get 25% extra time. You will be presented with a choice of 2. I have one of the pages from our revision guide which has several of the questions. So you'll be presented with one choice of 2, and you only have to select one question. You're then looking to write 3, maybe 4 PILC paragraphs. So you're going to circle your question and begin to identify what, say, 3 quotations, events, characters you're going to talk about, okay? Remember, a lot of these ideas are interrelated, so if we just look through the first 4 questions, how and why does Priestley present Inspector Gould and Inspector Calls? So we could consider how the inspector is a mouthpiece for Priestley's own sort of socialist views, this idea that we are all members of one body, the idea that World War I and World War II were almost punishment for the class system. Then when it goes on to explore the role of women in Inspector Calls, that is a little bit different. Obviously, you could consider Sheila, Eva Smith, you could consider the female characters and how they're treated and how class plays a role in that, because even if you're focused on women, you're still going to be discussing class. How and why does Sheila change? Again, it's still the character of Sheila. How does Priestley explore responsibility? Well, you could talk about the character of the inspector here as well. So it's just important to remember that you need to respond to the question, but you won't get a question that you're not prepared to deal with. As long as you know the characters, the main ideas, the themes, you'll be absolutely fine, okay? You know your gold quotations. So we're going to start with question 1. How would we plan for that? So how, that reminds me that I've got to address AO2. So I'm looking for method, okay? With an Inspector Calls, we know that dramatic irony is a key method. Stage directions. Okay, so if we consider the inspector doesn't need to be a big man, but he has a kind of presence, those are stage directions, and that's a method, okay? Also, characterization, or the character as a vehicle. So for instance, if we say the inspector is a mouthpiece for J.B. Priestley, and the inspector represents Priestley's views, Priestley uses the inspector as a character to represent his views. That's method, okay? My focus is on an Inspector Gould, so how he treats and deals with the other characters, and the way he presents, the way Priestley presents the inspector in terms of how he writes. So what kind of quotations can I be using? So I could use, we are all members of one body. I could use, he need not be a big or a large man. And I could also use this idea that there